Hey, how's it going, everybody? It's the boss here for another video for today. And today, guys, I wanted to do a quick little video, call it a review or a retrospective, depending on your viewpoint of it. Kind of want to talk and give my thoughts about a pretty underrated classic that I've been playing lately on the Xbox One, and it's a game called Quantum Break. Quantum Break was released in 2016, and it's an exclusive title on the Xbox One, so I very much doubt that it was on PC. Definitely wasn't on PS4 or Switch or anything like that. And considering it came out 3 years ago, I'm not sure how many of you guys even really know about this game. It's notorious in a few different ways. The whole concept of Quantum Break is quick plot summary. Time is breaking. Your main character's name's Jack, caught up in an accident in time. You have the ability to manipulate and control time, and you have to stop an evil corporation from trying to quote-unquote save people, but they're not even doing anything to stop the breaking of time. Therefore, you team up with a few other characters and try to fix the universe before it completely shatters, all while taking on the organization. So, really brief plot synopsis, and I can safely say that this is one game that's been under the radar for myself personally. I've been getting into collecting more Xbox One games lately, yes, collecting, and playing more of them, especially a lot of good classics that were even ported over. So the question I aim to answer today, though, plot summary aside and general introductions, is Quantum Break worth playing, and is it a good game? Because I've heard mixed things about this game across the board, and that's even if you know about it in the first place, so let's jump into it. So, the whole premise of Quantum Break, besides the story itself, it's completely based around time travel. All your actions in the past have consequences in the future. All of your future actions have consequences on past actions and whatnot that have occurred. Of course, there's a lot of things to take into consideration when it comes to time travel. There's very few games out there that I've found that have executed time travel well, not just from a story perspective, but in this game's case, a gameplay perspective. The game is divided into a few different sections where you can choose your own path. You can see an action, and you can see the consequences of that action, and those actions do play out later on in the game, which I think is a really good implementation for a time travel story. Quantum Break is one of those games where it's a single-player experience all the way through. If you played the Max Payne games or anything like that, these are the same people behind it. And I believe they released a new game recently as well on the Xbox One at the time of this video is recording. I think it's called Control or something like that, but you guys know. But it was released this year. But it's a straightforward single-person adventure all the way through, but it's a really cool way that they implement the time travel mechanics. And this game is also half like a live-action TV show. In between, I couldn't get the episodes to load for me personally during my playthrough of it thus far. But there's like 22-minute episodes. There's like 4 or 5 22-minute episodes in here that's like a live-action TV show that depicts the consequences of the actions that you choose based on the time travel and everything else. Basically, it's half a game, half a TV show type deal, and it's a really unique entry in the Xbox One library, and I think as a game period, because I think it executes the time travel concept for the narrative very well. I'm not going to spoil anything specifically, but I think it executes it. The narrative is its strong point in this game. Let's be honest here, and from the time travel standpoint, again, very few games I found have done it well, and I think this game hits all the right points when it comes to telling a very coercive story that would make you actually want to experience it the rest of the way through, and even watch the TV show segments. But the narrative for this game is only about one half of it. I will say, though, for the narrative as a drawback, the choices you make do have an impact on the stories you play through, and you get to see all the different consequences throughout the end. But to be honest, the ending of the game, regardless of what you choose, is the same regardless. So it really depends. It doesn't really matter in the terms of changing the ending, which is a criticism for the game I've seen, and I can see why to an extent. When you have a choice-based game like this, when it goes so in-depth with the time travel mechanic, you want that ending to be influenced by your actions. You want to see if it's good or bad depending on what you did. So to have the ending not change on your actions outside the main narrative is kind of but overall it's fine for myself personally. Now, the main thing about this game, as well as that, in between levels where you're progressing through the different stages and you're fighting against different Monarch enemies, which is the name of the shadowy organization you're fighting against, you have different time travel abilities, as mentioned. There was an accident where your character, Jack, got time travel power. So as you're traveling through these different levels, you have different time-based abilities. You can stop enemies in place. You can create a shield out of literally made of time that you can go and stop bullets with. You have a dash that allows you to zip forward through time for a second, too, in order to dodge bullets. You can create small explosions in a radius that wait a second and boom, just instantly explode and destroy enemies. There's various different time-based abilities that you have, and there's even a dash that allows you to run long distances and be able to take down enemies in a combat sense without a gun. Which, again, there's a lot of really cool time travel. I love the abilities in this game. it takes the concept for me of, if there was a comic about someone who got time powers in some kind of accident, this is what it would look like. They would have these kind of abilities. And they nail that narrative very well, too, from a gameplay perspective. They are so satisfying to do. The combat is so addicting to play in these different segments. It's executed so marvelously. I love the time-based combat in this game. The guns, nothing really imaginative in terms of variety. This isn't Borderlands we're talking here. There's nothing really unique in terms of that. But when you add the guns in with the time travel powers, slipping behind enemies and blowing them up, sneaking by and just meleeing them as you run by, and then causing explosions and shields everywhere, it's great. The combat's fluid and addictive, and I really love that part of it. Not just for how it plays into the narrative and the concept of the powers themselves, but just how well they're executed. Now, one part of the gameplay, though, that I don't like personally, that I can understand why, there's different platforming segments. Now, the implementation of your time powers in order to reverse time to reconstruct objects you need to get across, or using your time-stopping ability to stop an object that you need to walk across, I'm fine with that part of it. But the rest of the platforming outside of using your time powers, it really does suck. It's very clunky, it's very heavy to use, not very accurate. It feels like a really generic platformer in that sense. It feels like a generic game, if that makes any sense. The rest of the game, I think, is really good and underrated, but the platforming bits without the time powers, it's not that great, all things considered. And honestly, overall, though, outside of the platforming stuff, I really did enjoy the combat. It was really good. It can be frustrating at some points when you don't move fast enough, and I think some of the cooldown rates at some points are a little janky at times, but, you know, you can't make yourself OP with it in this game. There has to be some kind of strategy involved. So, I think overall for the combat side of things, outside of the platforming and maybe a few nitpicks here and there, I think it's pretty good. With all my brief thoughts being put into this game, what do I think about it overall? I think Quantum Break is an underrated title on the Xbox One. It went under a lot of people's radar back in 2016, it went under the radar a lot. And I think that this is an underrated gem on the Xbox One, as far as that's concerned. It's a game that if you're into stuff like time travel, if you're into stuff like sci-fi, if you're into the episodic element, if you're into like the live-action portions of it, I think that it's a good time for you. I think you will enjoy this game. It's not a long game whatsoever, and that's a little nitpick in itself. I wish it would have been longer. And they do leave it open for a sequel, but to be honest, at this point, I doubt we're getting one, especially since the company has not expressed interest in it. But I think in itself, it's a solid, cool experience. It's about a season of actual TV show, so I think it's really good. It's underrated in a lot of ways, although the game, like I said, isn't perfect. Platforming's not perfect in it. Some narrative standpoints for the ending not really changing is kind of in itself, but I think overall Quantum Break is a solid game. I really did enjoy my time with it. I'm almost done with the game, actually. I'm on the last act, so whenever I play it next, I'll probably be done with it, and I'll be moving on to something else. But overall, from what I've played so far, which is about 90% of the game at this point, 90 to 95, until my next playthrough, of course, and then I'll finish it. I think that Quantum Break is a good game. I would give it a solid 7.5, 8 out of 10. It's a good game. Has some issues, but it's one I recommend you check out. Either way, guys, this has been it for today's brief little review / kind of retrospective of sorts. Then what you guys think about Quantum Break? It's not a game that gets talked about a lot from the Xbox One library, and frankly, it's just a game period that doesn't get talked about a lot, so I'd be curious to see what you guys have to say about it. And let me know if there's any other games or anything you want me to cover in the future. I'll probably do more videos like this, just kind of like a casual talking video to you guys about, like, in a review sense, and also, like, what do I think about it type deal. So, either way, guys, thank you so much for watching this video. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. If you did enjoy this, though, give it a like to show your support for the channel if you're interested in that. And subscribe if you're new, if you want to catch more videos like this and other crazy content. Thank you guys, by the way, for the video I uploaded yesterday, as of when I'm filming this. I wanted to do a narrative thing with a character you guys have seen on and off here on the channel in the past, so I hope you guys enjoy the future episodes of that as well. With that in mind, though, guys, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, I'll catch you later. Peace out.